Day 37. And I'm back in the shop. And I am damn happy to be back in the shop. So, that was a little hint as to what we're going to talk about. 3 reasons I'm gigged up right now. 1, I'm back in the shop. 2, this paint. Oh, I love it. White, pure white, bright as it can be. Happy as can be, man. A glove box door. So, while I was gone, yeah, Woody took care of me. My hindsight boys taking care of me. Y'all knew that if I was going to do this in 100 days, I was going to need a lot of help. I knew that, and Woody's coming through with some help. So, this is the second reason I am gigged up and about as happy as I can be right now with this deal. So, this allows me to get going and keep moving. Just real quick, I don't know that Woody talked about it. I know he did some video when he was spraying, but this truck will be painted with just single stage urethane. Speedo coat is what I've got. 2 gallons of it. The gallons are actually in my office right now because it's warm in there all the time. But this is the brand, Speedo coat. This is the primer that I used. I've used a bunch of their primer. Used a lot of it, their urethane primer on Jeff's 78 F250 that you can go back and see videos of. It came out beautiful. This stuff is solid. This is good material. And I get it from Amazon. That's right. Amazon is my paint supplier. So, they sell a lot of Speedo coat products on there. The paint is, I'm just as happy as I can be with it, man. It's not even dying back yet. I'm sure it's going to die back a little bit, but it just looks beautiful. It laid out beautifully. Woody did a great job. So that's another reason why I'm gigged. But reason 3, boom, my drop beams are here. This was a huge piece of the puzzle. Okay, these beams were one of the things that I was concerned with that may throw off my timeline. John Pennington at John Rod's Drop Beams, solid guy. Dude took care of me. I had my beams in my hand, so that will not slow me down a bit. And he's probably saying right now, you ain't using me as an excuse if you don't get done in 100 days. So I met John, great guy, just an average car and truck loving dude, just like me and all the guys from Hindsight. Family guy, into Ford trucks, has been for years. He builds these things. Been building them for years. Did a prototype set, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, he said. Ran him on his truck, his personal trucks for a while. He's got a couple of trucks he's got these things on. And no problems. So you know what? I trust something like that that's been run for a long time, a lot of miles, beaten up and down those South Carolina highways. I trust it. He's a solid dude, and I trust his product. So I have them in my hand. They're not going on yet, but we're going to have them on there soon. So yeah, no excuses on that. Now my big potential piece of the puzzle is going to be wheels. That to me is probably, I mean, other than the time frame, the wheels are going to be, could be a problem. So I'm trying to get that Lincoln back to the house to get the rear end out of it so I can get it hung under this truck. And the weather has been crap. My man Wendell drug it out of the woods for me. So I got to get over there and get it. The plan is tomorrow to get over there and get it picked up, get it over here, definitely have that thing out this weekend, and hopefully setting underneath this truck by the end of this weekend. So that's a pretty realistic goal, I think. Also, got some help coming to finally get this thing completely chassis coated. I've run into a problem, and I don't know if I've mentioned it yet. This frame has a little bit of an issue. It's nothing that's not going to be able to taken care of really easy on a frame machine, but it's just another challenge. This thing had taken a little bit of a hit in the right front. So it's all bagged right now, but if you remember the pictures of the short bed, the right fender was changed and the hood was changed, and I believe the grill had been changed at some point. So it's, I don't know if it's from that, and then the back of that cab had a little bit of damage, not this cab, that cab, had a little bit of damage right here where the bed had hit it, popped it. So something in its life went wrong, because when it was sitting outside with no body on it at all, I spotted something that just didn't look right. So I did some measuring, and sure enough, it's got a little bit of a bow in the center section, right in here. I'm checking around with a couple frame places. So what I'll probably do, I mean, it's not bad. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to build it. I'm going to get the bed on it. I'm going to keep going, basically. And I'm going to put the beams on. I'm going to do the rear end. I'm going to do everything. And then the place that I'm pretty sure I'm going to get it done at, I'm not going to mention who it is yet, but the place I'm pretty sure I'm going to get it done at, we'll be able to pull it, make sure it's square, and they'll be able to align it too. So I'll get that all done at the same time. And that way we can make sure that, I think the only problem that I would have, and the only way you'd be able to visually see it with everything together, is the cab and the bed won't line up perfectly. Because if you go back and look at the old videos on this truck, the cab and the bed had an issue. One side, and I didn't notice it. One side had a bigger gap than the other, and that's kind of going back, and after I saw what the problem was, that was kind of a telltale sign that I should have noticed at the beginning, but didn't, especially since the fender and the hood had been changed. The fender didn't look like it fit right, but it was just sitting on there. So either way, it's just another challenge in this whole challenge. It's just another wrench to throw into the gears, but we'll get it taken care of. It's going to be fine. It's going to be square when it's out driving, and it's going to, we're going to make sure everything lines up right. So, losing my focus a little bit there, going down that rabbit hole, I wanted to make sure that I'd mentioned something about that, because I want to document this whole thing. So, rear end by the end of the weekend, chassis coating everywhere, especially first under the hood in the front, and got to get that driveline set in there. Got to get the engine and trans set in there. Got to get the hole cut. Got to get the hole cut in the floor. That's why I didn't do anything here. I don't know where that shifter's coming through at. You know, it's been a little bit beat up here for clearance. You know, some of the backyard guys in its past making a little bit of clearance for a transmission somewhere in its history. Kind of beat it up a little bit. That's why I didn't do anything with any of these holes, because I don't know what's going on here. I don't know exactly where that hole is going to be, but I will shortly. So, like I said, gigged up to be out here, gigged up to have my beams, and just glad to see that this thing is all white and it's looking good. And I'm just happy as can be with the way that dash turned out. And I can see no shrinkage to be able to tell where any of those holes were. It came out beautiful. I'm so glad I did that. So glad I got rid of that crappy dash pad. So glad I decided to stay with just the plain dash. And right now, I'm really glad really happy I went with white, because I just like it, man. I think it looks so good. It just looks so clean. All right, getting back to work. Day 37. I just hate the cold. It's cold today and just miserable outside and soaking wet and just everything else. But I was just unboxing this lead brakes master cylinder and power brake booster I got ordered off of eBay. Got it from the same place I got my setup for the 57. And I believe it's the same exact setup. Except I think what they call a double diaphragm on the 57, where it's got like another section right here. It's a 7-inch, which I'm good with because I don't know how much space I'm going to have here now, and how much space I'll have here if I change, drivetrains or whatever. So I don't even really need power brakes. And this is the smallest diaphragm they make, and it's it makes them less power brakes, a little harder than a regular power brake setup, I guess. Probably is the way it is. It's the way they worded on the description in eBay. So anyway, that's what it is. Comes with the proportioning valve setup, and with that setup you can run drum, disc drum, and disc. So just depending on how you adjust it. And this truck will be disc, just like the 57 was. So I really got used to stopping well, and I'd like to keep doing that. It's not going to be a big, giant rotor, 6-piston caliper. No, none of that. It's factory stuff on the front, just new. I got it all from Napa. It's the setup off of the 78, which is what these drop beams are made for, so that I can run my disc spindles off of that 78 that I got. And Clint at Casco Logics is redrilling my front rotors so that I can have the 5 on 4.5 bolt pattern, so I can have a lot better choices on wheels. And so that's the deal on this. But just unboxing this, just wanted to show you what I'm using, and we'll go with that. Duty calls. How's that go? Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, doo-dah day. So, I got the Lincoln home. It's on the trailer. And don't judge. You're not getting underneath it. I'm getting underneath it. So, and I'm not going to let anybody else get underneath it. Just me. When you do stupid shit, just put yourself at risk. How about that? How about that as our public service announcement of the day? When you do sketchy shit, only let it harm yourself if it goes wrong. All right. Deal. Here we go. So, I got the Lincoln home. I need to be able to drop the rear end. And I don't know. I'm not worried about the blocking up of it. I'm not going to put myself under there without putting jack stands underneath it too. But trying to figure out what my best move is here. I need to get the rear end out from underneath it, but I also am second guessing this now. So I'm wondering, do I want to strand it on the trailer? Because I'm going to put an ad to part it out the rest of the way, because there's a lot of good parts on this car, and I don't want it to go to waste before it goes to the scrapper. So this is it. This is the one Jay pulled the engine and tranny out of for his Mustang, which was an awesome move on his part. And it's just been sitting there at Wendell's property, just, I guess, waiting for the next move. So Wendell was kind enough to drag it out of the backfield, because it is a god-awful sloppy mess right now with everything melting and just as much rain as we've gotten in the last week. So I would have never been able to get it out. So drug it up on the trailer today, drug it home, and I'm, like I said, trying to figure out my next move. But the next move has to be yank the rear end out. And I hate straining stuff on my trailer just in case I need it, but I guess worst comes to worst, I could always borrow a trailer from Woody. or maybe Justin now. I think he bought a trailer the other day. So somebody will have a trailer if I'm in an emergency and need one, I guess. Because I'm going to strand it on this trailer until somebody either buys it because they want a bunch of parts off of it, or it goes to my scrap guy, who's going to also haul off all that crap that's sitting in my driveway, the leftover from the 78 and another cab that I've got that's junk, and you know, so anyway, this is the next move. Today I'm gonna yank this rear end out and like I said, not put anybody else at risk from my sketchiness here. That's all right. I think it'll be fine. I'm just gonna block it up, put a couple more jack stands underneath it, and hopefully all these bolts come loose, and I'm gonna yank that sucker out of there, chop some brake lines, and then once I get it out, I just have to cut off all the bracketry because it's just going on the leaf spring purchase, flipped upside down on top of the truck springs. So here we go, and I'm going to run these wheels over to Clint at Casco Logics. Wish me luck. Let me just first say, no body men were harmed in the making of this video. So this rear end is out and no injuries. Yes, it was a little sketchy. No, I didn't get underneath there without some jack stands and stuff. No, that's not blood rolling down the trailer. Just brake fluid, no big deal. The main line, I couldn't get up in there, and I eventually just grabbed it and it snapped right off. So, okay, so quick measurement. Everything online said these rear ends are 61.5 inches wide, face to face, mounting face to mounting face. I did a quick measurement with Bryson out here. If he was helping me right, it measured dead on 62 inches wide. The rear end in the truck, without taking the wheels off, but just a quick measurement. I don't have the drums in there, so I could actually see the mounting face of the axle. It measured just a little over 62. So, but I was measuring that by myself, and you know, with a sketchy tape measure. So, in a little bit, I'll have this thing up in the air, have those wheels off anyway. So I'll do a measurement, a more solid measurement there. But I hope I'm not going backwards as far as width wise. Not that I did this to narrow. You know, I didn't want a narrowed rear end, but I didn't want to go wider either. So, yeah, I mean, the main reason I went with this rear end is for the disc brakes and for the 5 and 4.5 bolt pattern. So, and I think it's got a 320 something gear in it, which would be perfect with that 5-speed. Should be able to cruise down the highway, no problems, without cranking on that old straight 6 at all. So, I get it in, get it on the stands, the little cart things, and get this bracketry trimmed off. That's all I'm doing. Knocking the brackets off, getting some of this ABS crap out of the way, and should be able to set it on top of that leaf spring setup. And I got some spring perches already, so should be ready there. Yeah, gonna get it on there. Hopefully by the end of the weekend it'll be sitting on there, and I'll know where I stand for measurements for wheels. Of course, I'm gonna have to set the bed back on and do some pretty heavy measuring. So I hope within the next week for sure I have my wheels measurements dialed in so I can get something ordered. More to come on that wheel selection and wheel choice. I'm not sure yet. I've bounced around. I don't want a wheel like everybody else who's got an F100. Don't get me wrong, I love them all, but I don't want to drive my truck down the road and have the same wheel as every truck that I pass. I'm trying to do something a little bit different, but what is different? So, yeah, who knows what it'll be. I've got it narrowed down about 5 choices. So, and the ones I really like don't come in a 20. Don't even come in a 18 or 17. They're 15 and 16 inch wheels. And I'm not going that route. So, here we are. getting this thing in there. So far, so good. Next few days are pretty crucial. More to come.